so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life. Good morning. Happy July 4th. This is Coffee and Community Conversations with PKO. Happy 4th, guys. I'm so excited that you joined me. If you are here, I want you to drop your name below. I see Christy Washington is here. Welcome, Christy. Jacqueline is here. Good morning. Blessings to you. Kira Fears, good morning. Back to you. Listen, I have this Starbucks coffee in my cup this morning. And of course, guys, check it out. I have Biscotti behind me from Noni's. They are our sponsor and partner, and we want to celebrate them for sewing into what we're doing here in Coffee and Community Conversations. And look, shirt alert, check it out. Make America godly again. Who's with me? If you're with me, say me. Make America godly again. So today's an exciting day for me. I'm going to share a little bit why, but I'm so happy that you joined me. If you're here, would you do me a favor and share this with someone? We're going to talk about freedom ringing today. What does that mean? And we're also going to give you some tips on how to celebrate and stay safe, because it is July 4th. Some of us have kids, right? We want to do things. We want to go out, and I'm going to give you some cool tips on how to do that. And so if you're here and you haven't dropped your name, would you do that for me below and let me know that you're here? I'm excited about you joining me. Me, Christy said me. Yes. I'm excited about you joining me. I'm excited about the opportunity to do Coffee and Community Conversation. And so I want you guys to help me get these numbers up. We have 7 people. Let's get to 10 so we can get started, right? I don't want to throw on some music, but I can if we need to and if we have to get pumped up, because it's going to be a great day. It's nice outside, right? We may not be able to get in with the crowd, right? But we can still celebrate with our family, with people that we have previously quarantined with, right? And today we're going to talk about what freedom ringing means, right? Is freedom ringing, right? Did you see that flyer, guys? Is freedom ringing? Right? Is freedom ringing? Do we hear a sound that's happening in the atmosphere, that's happening to kind of give us a clue on what's taking place in our community and around the country? So if you're here, I want to kick off with today's community question. And today's community question was brought to us by it was brought to us by Tasha, and Tasha sent me this community question. She's down in Greenville, South Carolina. She wants to know, what are you doing to bridge the gap of divide right now? And I'm not sure if she has specifics, but her question is, what are you doing to bridge the gap of divide right now? Is there something that you're doing? Are you having more conversations? Are you connecting with people? Are you being intentional about loving folks? Somebody help me answer that question for her. What are you doing to bridge the divide right now? For me, I'm going to say I'm doing Coffee and Community Conversations. I'm jumping on to give you guys information, empowerment, and details so that we can collectively come together, because everything starts with the conversation, especially when you're drinking coffee. I got coffee in my cup, and look, let's keep it real. For those of you guys who know me, I have on red lipstick, right? Again. And so this is my second time wearing red lipstick, and I feel like it's fierce. I'm enjoying it, and it's okay to put on some popping lipstick and a cool t-shirt. Who's with me? If you're with me, somebody say me. I need somebody to talk back, right? Is anybody out there watching today? Is anybody out there watching? And I know this is a holiday, but we're jumping on real quick, and then we're going to jump right off. So let's jump right into our conversation, because this is a conversation. Is freedom ringing? That was the question. Is freedom ringing? I'm going to give you guys some cool tips and some information that's going to shock you. But if you have an answer to that community question, please share it. Me, Jamont said me, Precious said me, Chrissy said me. Okay, guys, good. So everybody's doing something to bridge the divide. That's good. We're doing something to engage with our community, and we're doing it in a powerful way. Whether it's you're having a conversation with someone, being there with somebody, whatever it is, you're having a conversation. If you're just joining, I'm PKO, also known as Pastor Kalila Alo Kanola. Behind me, I have some Noni Biscotti. They're sponsors of hours. I'm so excited. If you're joining and you want a box, listen, I want to bless you. Just inbox me your address and I'm going to ship over one of these flavors directly to you because I want to share in the love, right? And so is freedom ringing? Is freedom ringing? Did you guys know that Freedom Ring, look, it's going to blow your mind, is a fictional superhero that appears in a comic book published by Marvel? Now, I'm a Marvel super fan. And I had no idea that Freedom Ring was a superhero. Good morning, Kim. Thank you for joining. Freedom Ring is a superhero. And I thought to myself, who names a superhero Freedom Rings, right? Why would they do that? Is his superpower a sound, right? Or is his superpower freeing people? What is it? And so Freedom Ring is a superhero, right? But then we also know that Martin Luther King said, let freedom ring, where it was a call for action as well as an optimistic ringing the bell. So sorry, the definition. So suggesting that in part that we have reached a place where goals was reached and we could dream again. So the Statue of Liberty in New York says, give me liberty or give me death. So people relate freedom ringing to being set free, to being able to dream again, to being able to tap into areas or situations that you may not have been able to. They say that the United States of America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's the big quote today. If you're looking for Instagram quotes, that's one of them. And so if we are the land of the free and the home of the brave, my question for the community today is freedom ringing? Is there a sound that you hear, right? Is there a sound that you hear that tells you that something great is happening in the United States, or do you hearing sounds that's contrary? And we're talking about if freedom is ringing. Dr. Martin Luther King said every village and every hamlet from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholic, hold hands, connect, and sing. That's how that finishes. And so Martin Luther King used that terminology, let freedom ring, but he wasn't just talking about one race, he was talking about all races. And look, guys, we normally associate the ringing of bells with churches, but they have also been used historically in towns, watch this, to signal emergencies. So when you hear a bell, at times and in certain places, it sounds an alarm. It depends on where you're positioned. Now, if this was Monday night, I could preach that, but I'm not. And so the sound of the bell, right, how it's defined is predicated on where you are positioned, where you are in your life, where you are in your residence, where you are in relationships. If you hear a bell ringing, do you think that it's freedom? Especially based on what we see here today. This is what I want to share with you. Is freedom ringing? Freedom is ringing. People are becoming free of holding back, how they really feel. People are becoming free of being bound by situations and circumstances that they've been bound to for so long. People are being free, right, in organizations and in situations that may have held them down, that they felt like they did not have a voice. People are being free, right, in situations where they didn't think that they was going to be able to get out of, but also not just for African Americans, but for Caucasian people. They are being free to stand up for us. Some of them are being free to tell us that they don't like us. But my question is why, right? Why does the color of my skin dictate how you feel about me? And that's a whole new coffee and community conversation. But people are being freed. People are voicing their opinion. I want to ask you this. Is there anybody watching right now that feels like for the first time in a long time, you're able to say whatever you want to say, how you feel and what you mean, and not feel bad about it? I want to ask you that. Anybody want to answer that for me? Because I know some folks who are a little bit reckless with their mouth and they're just saying things, but they're okay with saying things because they feel like the temperature of the United States of America right now is I can say whatever I feel. And I want to go there for a little bit before I jump into these quick tips on celebrating, because I don't want this to be a Debbie Downer day. I want this to be a good day. And so freedom ringing means, yes, I can say what I want, but the question is, should you say what you want? Anybody? Chrissy, I knew you was going to raise your hand, girl. Anybody? Should you say what you want? Or should you have a sense of temperament, or should you have some limitations on the boundary lines that you should cross? Right? When freedom rings, does freedom mean that I can say things that offend people, or say things that hurt people, or do things that's contrary to the law? Is that what freedom ringing means? Anybody? Anybody? Because based on where I am, They said the freedom ring is associated with the bells in churches, but they've also been used to signal emergencies. And so if my question is freedom ringing, I have to say yes, that we are in a state of emergency, right? We are in a state of emergency where if we don't have real candid conversations, we won't be able to get past where we are right now. But those conversations should be, number one, respectful, right? Those conversations should be, number two, recognizable. Just because we don't agree doesn't mean that we can't respect each other. Is anybody out there listening to me today? Like, just because we don't agree doesn't mean that we don't respect each other. It's okay for us to have a conversation and disagree about a circumstance or a situation that we're facing in order for us just to commune, to see your perspective and to see mine. I don't have to be right. You don't have to be right, but we can commune together to come up with a solution. Is anybody out there listening or watching to me today talking about freedom ringing, right? How do we engage in a candid conversation and not offend someone, respect the topic, recognize what the situation is? That means that we're coming together to have a conversation with somebody who may not necessarily agree with us, who may not necessarily believe the same thing as us, but we honor everybody and we respect where they are, because we know that if we operate in the right vein, if we operate in the right temperament, we can encourage them from our perspective, and we can open up our ears and hear their perspective. Apostle Gibson said, what you say with love and kindness have I drawn thee, assertive and not aggressive, so that ears do not close. That's exactly what I'm saying today, Apostle, is that freedom can ring and we can open up our mouth and we may feel we can say what we want, but should we, right? The question is, should we? Should we say what we want, or should we have a conversation with people and share our perspective from a place of love? So is freedom ringing? Yes, freedom is ringing. People on one position feel like they can say what they want, but in the other position, remember what that definition is. In the other position, the bell ringing, the sound is signaling an emergency. It's telling me that we need more people to rise up and have a conversation. We need more people to open up their mouth like Hannah did and let loose a war cry, so that we can convene with people that necessarily doesn't look like us, so that we can pass this situation, these barriers and these strongholds that we see our country is facing, and we can move forward. Because Martin Luther King wasn't just talking about Black people, but he was talking about Black and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestant and Catholics. He was talking about all people holding hands and singing with each other. And so we realize that's right, Apostle, operating in the, thank you, Mother, thank you so much. That's right. And Jamont said, set guidelines for the conversation. That's right, Jamont, you just said something that's really powerful, and I want to stay right there on this point. There are guidelines for conversations, right? You can be real, you can be raw, but listen, sister, young man, you have to be respectful. You should be respectful, because that's how you set the right tone, and that's how you get not just your point across, but that's how you get somewhere, right? You'll never find anybody that got from point A to point B by being disrespectful, right? Or by not honoring the person that they're speaking to in the conversation. And so today, if you're just joining, I'm PKO, and we're talking about freedom ringing. We're talking about the sound that we hear. Is it a sound to say what we want, or a sound of emergency to come together and have a respectful conversation so that we can go from point A to point B? Apostle Gibson said education is the key. And that's why I do coffee and community conversation. Now, I'm just getting started. This is like my 6th episode, but I believe that God is going to use this forum as a way to educate people and bring them together. Because look, when I work, I believe that conversation challenges what you believe. And so you won't know who I am or what I stand for unless we open up our mouth and communicate with each other. The same way that you wouldn't know what the person sitting next to you believes or what they stand for unless you communicated with each other. Your perception is based on what you see, but not on what someone said. That was good right there. Your perception is typically based on what you see and not what someone said. If you joined us last week, you remember my guest was Alfred White. He jumped on driving a brand new BMW with his hat to the back, probably ripped jeans and a t-shirt, and he was pulled over, and they asked him, did the car belong to him? But Alfred dresses in suits Monday through Friday, but they judged him based on what they saw, not on who he is or what he said, right? And so today we have to remember that it's character over color. Somebody write that down. This is a repeat point. Character over color, right? Character over color. Like I'm more concerned with who you are than what you look like. Freedom is ringing. I'm more concerned with the conversation that we have than what you look like. I'm more concerned with what you stand for than what you look like. I'm more concerned in what you stand for than what you look like. I'm more concerned with what you do than who you are. Well, not who you are, but what you look like. And so we have to stop basing things on what we see, and we have to listen to what's said. Freedom is ringing because freedom is a sound, and you know that sound is important. I believe that everything you hear goes in here, and it causes a reaction or action. So your ear is your mouthpiece to your inner man, and if you hear the wrong things, you will react in a negative way. If you hear the right things, you will react in a positive way. And so now we understand that what we're listening to determines how we lead. Oh my goodness, I'm speaking good. What you listen to determines how you lead. And so when we're letting freedom ring, we're not saying we can say what we want. We're saying that sound is a sound of emergency based on where we are. We're understanding that we're not judging people by the color of their skin because it's character over color. We realize that we're more concerned with what they're saying than what they look like. You will realize that there's more things that you have in common than you have things that divide you when you have a conversation. Whether you're from different areas, different socioeconomic status, different backgrounds, different jobs, different teams. You can be a Giant fan or a Panther fan, but there's always something that brings you together. Look at my example, and some of y'all are going to be really mad at me. Cam Newton was on the Carolina Panthers for years. Everybody in North Carolina, where I live now, is right? They was ready to, they was dabbing, right? They was pounding for Cam Newton, right? And Cam got hurt. And when he got injured, he went out of play. And Carolina Panthers released him. On the other end, you have the Patriots, whose quarterback was Tom Brady. They couldn't reach a deal, and Tom Brady left, right? He's no longer the quarterback there. He's in another team. But the Patriots were not liked. People disliked them for so many reasons. Everybody that I know disliked the Patriots except my pastor. I hope he's watching. And all of a sudden, Cam, who, look, guys, I played kickball with Cam. I've met him. I've been to some of his fundraisers. He's a great guy. Listen to what I'm telling you. He went from being top to the underdog and then over to the team that nobody liked. You got people who would never like the Patriots becoming fans and buying bumper stickers because they have something in common now with the team. They're Cam fans. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're Cam fans. And so you will always find something in common in a situation as opposed to something that's just going to divide you. There's always going to be something that brings you together, and we have to focus on that and not what takes us apart. We see that across denominations and churches. We see that across different religions. We see that across orientation and preference. We see that across job status. We see that across socioeconomic status. We see that across neighborhoods. People will always pay attention to what divides us as opposed to what unites us. And so today, the freedom that I'm talking about that's ringing is not the freedom that rings that says that you can say what you want, that you can do what you want, that you can be disrespectful. It's the freedom that's ringing that's saying, like, this is an emergency. I need you to have a conversation with somebody that's respectful so that we can move from point A to point B. I need you to unite with people that don't look like you or people that do look like you, but that do something different so that we can come together as one and we can make a difference, because I believe that we don't have more in common than we do that separates us. That's right. Mr. Nora just jumped on. She said, find a commonality. Jamont just said, so true. Apostle Gibson said, mouthpiece to your inner man. That's right. And Jacqueline, so Miss Jackie just threw up our quote again, character over color. And Sonia said, I love your shirt. And I'm going to talk to you about this shirt and character over color before I get off here. So it's freedom ringing. I want you guys to talk back to me. How is freedom ringing in your life? What are you seeing? What are the conversations that you're having? What are the things that you're engaging in? How are you making a difference? What are you doing, not just in your community, but in your household? Because this is not just a time for you to speak out in the community. You need to speak in your house first before you open up your mouth to go out in the community. You can't have a house that's not together and think that you can go help a community that's not together. Come on, somebody. I'm talking right now, and I don't know who's listening, but I hope you are. And so I have to speak to my kids about what's happening in the world today so that they understand. So that they understand what the divides are that they see, and they understand what they can do as young women and young men, right? I have a 12-year-old, I have an 11-year-old, and my 9-year-old niece is here. What can they do, right? What kind of conversation can we have? How can I educate them? How can I speak to them about people like Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass? And how can I show them that what we're seeing right now is not God's purpose, right? What we're seeing right now is not how the earth was designed. We were designed to be kingdom, right? That's white, black, Asian, Chinese, Latino, whatever it is, we're supposed to come together as one. So I have to educate my household. I have to be able to talk to my family first before I can come on here and talk to you. Come on, somebody, right? And so all hands on deck, you are included. That's right. And so you have to teach the kids. Precious just jumped on and said she's teaching her grandkids. You have to teach the kids. And for some of us who have young boys, right, we're teaching them how to act if they get stopped by the police. That's not how we should live. And the only way we get past situations like this is not going to be one person, one organization, one mayor, one assistant. It's going to take a community. It takes all of us. It's going to take Precious, Christy, Sonora, Catrice, Pat, Apostle Gibson, Jamon. It's going to take all of us combined together so that when freedom rings, it's not because we want to be disrespectful. It's because we all have this revelation that we are all one, that our color doesn't divide us, that we have things in common, and that we were all designed for a specific purpose on this earth. And if I can't carry out my assignment, then something's going to be out of place. We need each other. And so we have to begin to realize the part that we play in what we do. If we have 10 people on this line having 10 conversations and doing 10 things, then we have 10 more people making a difference. Come on, somebody. If we have 2 people across the street having a conversation with 2 people, and then those 2 people go get 2 people, remember, God sent out, there were 12 disciples, right? And he sent them out. He said to go make disciples, into all nations. And so that means that you had to duplicate yourself, and you had to go make more from where you are and where you were positioned. And so we have to realize how important our conversation is, and how important what we do and what we say is. Let's jump into community comments. Christy said it's not a mission, but a movement. Yes, it is. It's not a mission, but a movement. That's right, Carol. It takes a village. Kayla said, for me, it's the hardest thing to teach my Black sons. I'm sure it is. But you know what? You teach it in love, and you tell them that it's not going to always be like that. Speak to them from a place of faith, a place of power and boldness. Like, this is what's happening in the world right now, but it's not going to always be like that, right? But I want to give you this information just so that you have it, because the Bible says my people perish because of lack of knowledge. If we don't teach our kids, then the world is going to teach them something different and something contrary to what we believe or what we stand on. Sonora said, all hands on deck. You are included. That's right. And sometimes we feel left out of the situation because we're not part of a ministry team. We're not part of a certain company, or we're not in politics. But listen, right now, from the comfort in your own home, I want you to know that I'm activating you for this assignment. I'm activating you to go have a conversation with people, to connect with others that don't look like you, and to others that do look like you, that you just don't want to speak to, right? I'm calling you to reconcile with folks that you may have had bad breakups with, that were your friends. Pat said to teach respect is earned and has to be reciprocal. That is right. And so I'm activating you to go out and be community. I am activating you to go out on assignment to encourage and empower people, to let them know that a peace is your portion, and that freedom rings and it belongs to everybody, that you're interested in learning about them, and that the things that divide you don't define you. That's somebody's word. The things that divide you don't define you, but the things that connect you complements you instead. Precious said, we all have a purpose. We must teach ourselves and our youth. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's freedom ringing. It's freedom ringing. So freedom is not the ability to say what you want and do what you want. Freedom is sounding the emergency alarm to say that I have a responsibility to my community, especially on July 4th, where we say freedom is ringing, that this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but we're still fighting systemic racism. We're still fighting police brutality. We're still fighting discrimination in the workplace. We're still fighting lack of diversity, equity, and inclusion in corporate companies across the United States, and some of the biggest companies from Google. Come on, I'm shouting them out right now, right? If you have one Black person in your company, that's not diversity, equity, and inclusion. Look, I said it, and I'm in HR. I know what I'm talking about, right? And so we have to look again and realize we are at a state of an emergency. The freedom ringing, the sound that we hear is not that I can say what I want to do what I want. It's to say I need to be part of the solution, for this situation. Was this good or what? Was this good or what? Yeah. And so as we shift a little bit from freedom ringing, I'm going to take some more community comments from freedom ringing, right? And I'm going to switch over to our secondary topic to today is quarantine tips for July 4th, because we need them, y'all. Bobby said, train them up. Some adults are children in the world. We must all come to God as a child. That's right. That's right. Kim said exactly. Jackie said diversity. I am telling you, we need more of it. Yes and amen. Part of the solution, right? And so, and you know what you're advocating for, right? Don't just show up. You know what you're advocating for. You're advocating for freedom, not just for you, but for your children and your children's children. I usually don't jump into Bible facts here, but I'm going to jump in and share this really quick with y'all. When Jeremiah said in 29:11, for I know the plans to prosper you, plans of hope in the future, when he was prophesying to the children of Israel, they had just been exiled, right? Wait, a couple of verses above, they had been exiled. And he was telling them there that even though the false prophet told you it's going to be okay, you're not coming out of this thing right now. It's going to be some time. But while you're in this situation, the Bible says that he told them to be prosperous, to plant seeds and find wives, and to pray for the land. And so they had to be prosperous, they had to plant seeds, and they had to pray for the land, even though it was uncomfortable. Listen to what I'm saying. Like, we are in an uncomfortable situation, but we still have to realize that we're on assignment, right? We have to still plant seeds. We have to still open up our mouth. We have to still pray, and we still have to commune with our family first before we go out these doors, right? Because our family is our ministry, right? And that comes before what happens on the outside. But also this, when Jeremiah was given that prophetic word, the children of Israel he was talking to would not even receive the promise of the prophetic word that he was releasing. And so what I'm telling you is that what you do today, oh my God, what you do today may not make a change that you see, right, immediately, but your children and your children's children will benefit from the situation if you make yourself part of the solution. That was so good. Apostle Gibson says, I educate my 27-year-old to comply so that he can come home. Do not fight, be still, let them cuff him and not kill him. His mission is to live to fight another day. He recently shaved off all his facial hair. I asked him why. He told me so that they do not stop him. He looks 18. I said, wow, I would have never thought that. He has a responsibility to continue our lifeline. That's powerful. That's powerful. And for some of you that know my husband, he used to have dreads and he cut his dreads off because he was being labeled and being called by a name that was not him, right? And that name was connected to something that was contrary to who he is. And so he cut his dreads off because he didn't want to be stereotyped. And that's another topic for community conversation. Jessica Turner just jumped in and said, amen. What's up, sis? This is our faith and finance ladies. Listen, if you need help with your money, if you need to get on track, y'all need to hit up Jessica Turner. She is brilliant, right? She will help you get everything together. Kim just jumped on and said, amen. And look, we're shifting right now. We are shifting right now because remember, I said today that the topic is this freedom ringing plus quick celebration tips for fun, safe, and social activities for families. Now, why am I doing that? Because I hear from people all the time that says, look, I don't know what to do with my kids. It's July 4th. We going outside. Listen, y'all, those COVID-19 numbers are going back up. they are going back up. They are going sky high right now. And our city, the last article I read said that it's increased by 220%. I don't know where you are, but the numbers are going back up. I need you to be safe, right? And I'm looking for my mask right now because I'm trying to social distance from everybody, even the computer. And so look, I want you guys to be prepared, right? Yeah, wear your mask, but let me give you guys some quick tips about how you can celebrate today, right? I don't want you, don't go in any crowds. We all know that. Those are facts, right? Like, those are facts. If you're looking for masks, Walgreens has a box of masks for $15.99. Ollie's is selling packs of masks of 10, the blue masks for $6.99. And so those are the places I've seen them in bulks. And yes, it's scary times because people can be asymptomatic, or listen, some people are reckless. They know they don't feel good and they still show up outside, right? Those are people that make you want to give these hands, right? Come on, somebody. And so I want to give you guys some quick tips on July 4th. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. I'm celebrating, starting with my Make America Godly Again shirts. You know, we know that MAGA has been used in a negative way, and I thought that I would turn it around, right? It's not Make America Great Again. It's Make America Godly Again. I believe God is calling us to pray. I have these shirts available. And listen, if you want one of these shirts, you just have to inbox me. I'm going to be selling them via Cash App and probably Facebook, I guess. But if you want one, I want to give you one. But if you buy one, I want you to commit to pray. You know, I have a 1-week masterclass that's happening next week. And after that class, God is committing me to pray for 40 days with the masses. And so I'll be online praying for 40 days straight. And I'll be in this shirt every day because I believe that it's our assignment to make America godly again. Come on, somebody. I believe it's our assignment, right? To intercede and stand in the gap on behalf of our region, our city, our nation, right? And so, yes, let's make America godly again. And so if you guys want one of these shirts, right, I want to give you one. I have them available, right? These shirts are $20 for you. If you want, I'm going to throw up my Cash App. It is somewhere up here on my system. If I don't, I'll throw it up to you later. There it is. Kalila Equips is $20 for this shirt. You can inbox me your address and then you can Cash App me. If you want one, listen, I'm only printing 50 to start. And so if you want one, just tell me to hold it. I'm going to submit the order next week. I just submitted the order last week for character over color. I'll post those too if you guys want it. But look, if you get this shirt, that means that you're committing to stand in the gap and intercede with me. I believe that people everywhere are going to be praying. People are going to be interceding. People are going to be on their face, that we're going to see changes happening in our household first, changes happening in our city, changes happening in our nation, that we're going to see a shift, right? Chanel says she wants 2. Pat says, okay, guys. So look, if you want a shirt, Cash App me the $20. If you can't pay it right now, just inbox me and say I want a shirt, and I'll pull one to the side for you. The order's going to go in next week on the 10th. The order's going to go in next week on the 10th. And so let me know. I'm only doing 50. And remember, if you get a shirt, it's not just for you to wear and rock. It's for you to commit to pray. I need a 3X. I got you covered, mother. Just inbox me that information and I'll go ahead and give it to you. Yeah, inbox me your information. I'll follow up with everybody that said that they wanted one. But let's shift, right? And let's go into those tips on what you can do to make this to make this July 4th fun, right? Yeah, and we'll run back to Make America Godly Again. So look, you can have a field day in your own house, first of all. And so look, guys, let's shift, right? We're shifting. So we're talking about July 4th now, and I have one of these cool shades. Come on, somebody, right? Let's get in costume. I got these cool shades that I got from the dollar store, Dollar General to be exact. They have them for 99 cents, and I am wearing these today with my kids with my Make America Godly shirt to make a statement because I am hosting a July 4th luncheon for them, right? Come on, somebody, and say, go PKO, right? And so this is what we're doing. Also available from the dollar store. I want you guys to know that I spent $10 to make this luncheon. work for my family at home, and that does not include food. With the food, it was $25, and I have a family of 5 right now in my house. And so I got these glasses. These glasses are for the hostess first, right? And then from the Dollar Tree, I got this cool banner, right, that I'm going to string along the outside of my house, right? And I also have one for inside. It's stars and stripes, so you can go with the red and white or the blue and white. You can use both of these and add your own pop of color in your living room, right? I also found the cookout plates and tablecloth, also for $1 at the dollar store. And so the plates actually matches the tablecloth. How cool is that, right? I think that's awesome. So like that's $3. Also, in packs of 4, I found these little baskets that came with the inserts, the red and white checkered inserts, so that when you make your burgers and your fries and your hot dogs or whatever you're making for July 4th, you can put them in here. It just gives the kids and the family a really cool experience, right? And we can't forget, right, sparklers, right? Let's be safe. We know fireworks are illegal, and so we have sparklers up here that we also got from the dollar store. It came in a pack of 6, and so I'm giving each kid the sparklers. In addition to what you see, I got little signage, boom and pow, every time something goes off or every time I light a sparkler, just so they can take pictures in our custom-made photo booth. And so I was able to get these decorations along with bubbles and some other stuff for the kids for under $10 at Dollar Tree, with the hamburgers and the hot dogs for a family of 5 and the buns. I spent $25 altogether. And so if you're looking for an experience, hit up your local Dollar Tree, right? Not Dollar General, but Dollar Tree with the green, right? And create something, you know, for your family. I'm also going to give you guys some other tips, right? And so you can create a water park at home. If you have sprinklers or a hose, you know, you can go to the store and get a little extension and have it shoot upwards. You know, the kids will be entertained for hours and cooled off by playing fun water games. You can also read them a book about the American history. You know, if you got a little one, you know, they probably don't quite know what the 4th of July is about. And so you can use the holiday to teach them more about American history. There's lots of great kids books, but there's also things that you can find on the internet, and you can do that and add the sparklers to it or the meal. It would be a great experience for them. You could also host a hot dog eating contest. We're going to do that here. I got 2 packs of hot dogs. I don't think those kids will be able to eat more than that with the hot dog station. And so we're going to have a contest to see who can eat the most hot dogs in 1 minute. Lord, y'all pray, because we need to make sure that everybody swallows appropriately, right? If you're still with me. Next, you know, you can pack a picnic. If you don't want to stay at home, you can go outside to your local park, just grab a blanket from home, make your own sandwiches and food, and pop up in the middle of the park, find your own secluded place. You know, you can still entertain your kids with games at the picnic if you want, if you really didn't want to stay inside. If you have a bike, you can go for a bike ride or a walk. I'm not recommending celebrating on the beach, because I think the beach is going to be packed and people are going to be out there, and you want to safeguard yourself. And so these tips is just to safeguard you. You can take a walk in the park or along the porch, the trail, you know, wherever you live. I'm sure that there's areas where you can walk with your family. That's a really good experience. And then come back home and eat dinner or grill, whichever one it is. You can also host a potluck with people that you've already quarantined with, or if you're comfortable with inviting, you know, your mother or your sister, some people in your immediate family, do that. But remember, you want to keep the groups to under 10 just to safeguard everybody. And you can prepare the potluck dishes on the table, and you can still social distance. Guys, you know, for me, I've been going to pop up and meet some women here and there, and I bring my lawn chair, and I call it lawn care. And so I put my lawn chair, you know, outside, and they 6 feet away, and we just have conversations. It's hot out there, and so I don't usually stay for too long, but it's a way, you know, for us to connect. Jessica said, how much for the shirt? Is $20. What's the Cash App? Let me go back and give it to you. It's Kalila Equips. And so the next one is make a festive craft. I'm going to pull these out for you so you guys can see. This is also from the Dollar Tree, right? And so these are planter pots right here. And so the planter pots, You can do it with your kids, or if you are a grown adult. Al and I are doing these with the kids. The pots, it comes with little paint, and you can paint them patriotic or however you want. We dug up soil from our yard and from the street that we're going to use and let the kids plant some seeds that we also got at the dollar store, right? And so this is a great craft that you can do on July 4th as well, a festive craft. It can be a do-it-yourself project, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be this. You can come up with something in your house, you know, if you wanted to do something cool, if it's making patriotic popsicles or whatever it is. Crafts are great. You can also screen a movie outside, and you're wondering how you can do that. And so look, if you have a shoebox and a cell phone and a magnifying glass, you can actually do that. Wait, let me see. Miss Pat said scavenger hunt for images of our history if you're walking around the community. That's a great idea, Miss Pat. Scavenger hunts for images of our history. That is a great idea. A great idea. And she also said to keep your fluid intake up. Thank you, Miss Pat. And so you guys can, I just lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was, guys. Screen a movie outside. So if you don't have a projector, you can use a shoebox. You need black paint, paint it black, put holes on each end and put the magnifying glass in there with your phone, right? And there's an app where you can turn your phone into a projector and put a white sheet outside and it actually projects on it, and you'll have yourself a movie outside on your back deck, right? Erica said, my internet has been horrible lately. It keeps not loading. I'm sorry. You can go back and watch the replay or call me, right, if you want to hear what we talked about. And you can do a movie outside, which was a cool way. The kids love it. I'm going to do that also tonight. And finally, look, guys, you can belt out some tunes. I can't sing, but you can sing the Star Spangled Banner, right? This land is your land. This land is my land. Whatever it is, you can belt out some tunes, make some recipes, host a cookout, make your own fireworks show. Listen, quarantining, right, doesn't mean that you have to be kept from having fun. It just means that you have to be careful. And so I hope that I gave you some cool ideas and some tips, from the glasses to the bubbles, to the flags, to the signage, and to the sparklers, right? I hope you got those tips and you understand that you can have fun even while quarantining, and it can be safe and social. Your kids will appreciate it. You'll appreciate it. I'm going to take these tips and have them on a document that I'm going to post online. And so if you want them, just go to my page on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, Kalila Equips, and those tips will be up there. Or you can always watch this replay and hear those tips as well. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. We'll do a quick recap. I want to thank you guys for engaging in the conversation. The freedom is ringing. You know, what's the sound that's happening in the atmosphere right now? We know that people believe that freedom ringing means you can say what you want, but for us, it's a sound of emergency that tells us that we have to move from where we are, because it's part of our mandate to be part of the solution for our community. That if we're looking for more diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just in the workplace, but in the world, in the country that we live in, that is not going to happen by one affiliation, one association, one building, one individual, but that is going to take a village, an entire community, to come together as one in order to shape the change that we want to see, not just in our communities, but in our households and in our life. Any questions for me today on freedom ringing, right? Any questions to me today for me today on tips? I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to comment. Deanna, thank you for joining. If you're just jumping on, this is Coffee and Community Conversation with PKO today. We're talking is freedom ringing, and we're also giving quick quarantine tips on how to celebrate, be safe, have fun, and social distance at the same time. And so this has been great. For those of you who messaged me, you are awesome. God bless. Have a happy Independence Day. Thank you so much. For those of you who are just joining me, remember these Make America Godly Again shirts are available for $20. You can cash at me at Kalila Equips. And But inbox me your size, inbox me your address so I can send it to you. But if you buy the shirt, what that means is that you're not just buying a t-shirt, you're committing to touch and agree and intercede with me for 50 days. These shirts are not just for people who want to show up and be cute, because I know I look cute, y'all, with the red lipstick and the earrings and everything else, right? And if I showed you my full outfit, I have on cheetah and red heels. Come on, somebody. But it's for people who want to commit to pray, because we believe that intercession will shift our nation. These are t-shirts for prayer warriors, for intercessors, for people that are taking on the mandate to join me and pray for 40 days. Beginning in 2 weeks. If that's you, then inbox me your size, inbox me your address and where you want it to be sent, and cash at me at Kalila Equips. Some of you have already cash at me. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of Coffee and Community Conversations. Precious just said, any tips on how to stay focused for us and our loved ones? Yeah, Precious, is it staying focused from COVID environment, from protests, or for everything in general? Because Tina says, I want to see the entire outfit. She says she wants to see the entire outfit. No doing it. Precious, if you can give me a little bit more feedback on your question, that would be great. Any tips on how to stay everything? Okay, Precious is looking for tips, guys, on how to stay focused for us and our loved ones. She said on everything. And so if somebody could join in and chime in, I can chime in, but I believe that this is a community conversation and we all should chime in. Any tips? I'm sorry, y'all, this background. Anybody? Anybody? Tips on how she can stay focused for us and her loved ones? Eliminate distractions. Thank you. Angela C. Gray said eliminate distractions. Eliminate distractions. So Precious, that's a good place to start, and we can start there. Pat says to focus on family by avoiding news outlets, negatives does not help, right? And so, Precious, I want you to get a piece of paper when you get off of here, and I want you to write down things that are distracting. What things make you feel worried? What things make you feel bad? What things put you in a situation where it stirs up a negative emotion? What are those things that distract you? I would write down a list of your distractions, and I would also create a list of things that make you happy, right? And if you watch TV, watch positive shows, right? I will write down a list of distractions and a list of things that make you happy. And if it is not just for you, but for you and your loved ones, I want you guys to decide, what you want for yourself. Oftentimes when we want to stay focused, or when we want something, we define our why, because we want to be in a better mindset. We want to be happier. We want to reposition ourselves for something. And so when you ask for tips on how to stay focused, not just for you, but for your loved ones, what do you want to achieve with your focus? What are the outcomes that you're looking for? Because there's tons of processes. Jessica says, don't walk in fear. Make this time that you decide to achieve your goal. That's right. And Tara said, we must do as the word states and keep our minds focused on seeking God and his kingdom, and to avoid anything that takes your mind off of the great I am. Thank you, Tara. And so they're right. So to stay focused, eliminate distractions, define what makes you happy, define define the outcomes that you want to receive from staying focused, right? And put yourself in a position where you can't be moved. Put yourself in a position where you were doing things constantly to shift your focus. For me, I wake up and I pray. For somebody else, they may wake up and they meditate. Excuse me. For others, and Precious, I know that you like music. Listen to the right music, because a sound can shift you. So listen to music that'll encourage you, or listen to music that makes you hype. Whatever it is, create an outline of your day, because you can start commanding what happens with your day if you decide to. You can eliminate distractions, and that will dismantle it in your life. You can define those good things that are taking place in you, and you can put people and things in place so that it helps push you into a positive reaction. And so what that means is that, look, I'm going to talk to the right people. I'm going to listen to the right things, because remember, we talked about faith being our earpiece to our spirit man, right? We're going to engage in the right situations and activities, and I'm going to set myself up for a season of consecutive wins, right? Ms. Chanel says, search the Bible for scriptures to encourage you. Yeah, I agree. And you know what, Precious? Just choose one. That you can just choose one positive statement, choose one verse from the Bible, whatever it is, just choose one. I wake up, I listen to the word, I pray, I read the Bible, and then I listen to music. And look, it's not always church music. I'm listening to Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, and Nas. Come on, somebody. And I'm staying focused. It helps my focus. Listening to hip hop helps me clean. And so when you begin to define your outcomes or what you want to experience, you can begin to put your processes in place. Does that help you? Positive energy. Does that help you? Awesome. So look, guys, thank you so much for joining me today for Coffee and Community Conversation. I did tell you guys that we were going to be doing some giveaways, right? And so we're going to be giving away a couple of things today. But before we jump off, let me just throw this on the screen. So I'm going to be giving away this character over color, a t-shirt and cup. Is going to come complete with the coffee and biscotti kit from our sponsors. All you have to do is share this with somebody. If you share this with somebody, it automatically enters you in the running to win a t-shirt for you, a t-shirt for your boo, a cup for you, and a cup for your boo, right? It's valued at $65. It comes complete again with coffee and a biscotti kit from our sponsors. I hope you guys decide to share this with me or share this for me. Yeah, and so a reminder, Noni Biscotti is our sponsor. And so with those kits and with that gift that we're giving away, if you share it, you'll get either mango and coconut almond thins or toffee almond biscotti. Listen, y'all, I don't know about you, but it tastes good. And I always show up with my stomach because I stay hungry. And so I want to thank you for joining me for this off book, July 4th edition of Coffee and Community Conversations with PKO, where we have real, raw, relevant conversations about real topics, right? That concerns our community, that we concerns who we are and where we want to go. Jackie said mango and coconut for me. Don't forget to share this. If you share this, you will get this character over color kit. It is not available for sale yet, but you will be the first to have it. We're going to rock it together. I'm going to show up next week with it on the camera. Don't forget, you can grab this Make America Godly Again t-shirt. And if you know somebody who would want one and you know somebody who would commit to pray, let's do it, because there's a nation that we need to shift together. My name is Pastor Kalila Alokanola. I want to thank you for joining me on my 7th episode of Coffee and Community Conversations with PKO. This is still new to me, and I'm so encouraged that you guys show up and talk to me every week. Our numbers have been around the same amount, like 19 to 25, 30, and I'm so grateful for the people that are joining us. I hope that you would share this. I hope that you would bring somebody in next time, and I hope that today, right, you decide to let freedom ring in your life. You decide not just to be a fly on the wall, but to jump in the game and realize that you have a mandate on your life to help with the mission that we see at hand, that a community has to be shifted back to being united and not divided. And it's not going to take one person. It's not going to take one company or one affiliation. It's going to take all of us. You, Jackie, you, Jessica, you, Precious, you, Pat, you, Tara, you, Angela, you, Kim. It's going to take all of us together to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Meet me again here next week at Saturday at 10 a.m. and also on Monday at 7 p.m. for Brave Lessons. Have an amazing day. Enjoy your 4th. Don't eat too much. Bye, guys. And so today's community conversation was just not about how you transition, into phase 2 for COVID-19, but understanding that whether it's good or bad, whether you say yes or no, whether you go or you stay still, it causes a ripple effect in your life.